I got to thinking about some things. It's a little hard for me because this is kind of just, well, it's just fairly personal, and I don't normally like hit this kind of stuff here, but I thought it was important to just explain this. You know, let me just give you this example. I was doing a inspection in Gentilly in Florida. I mean, I got Florida on the mind. I was in Gentilly in New Orleans after Hurricane Katrina. It's totally quiet. It's these two-story houses, very nice neighborhood. And, you know, everything's dark because it's all got this sludge on it that came in. All the trees are dead. And it was always so weird because it's just so quiet. If you've ever heard a deafening quiet, that's what it was. But I heard this thing when I was on the second floor of this building. I heard something that distinctly felt like the kind of crying that was brokenness. It's that very visceral feeling of just absolute hopelessness. And I went downstairs. I walked out on the stoop and I looked over to my right, and there was a lady there, probably in her early 60s. And I walked over to her and I said, "Ma'am, what could I do for you? You know, if you need your house fixed, I've got friends and I know people in this business, and we can get that done. If you got a problem with your insurance, I know lawyers and public adjusters and contractors and you name it. If you need something else, I can see if I can find it. What can I do for you?" And she stopped crying and she looked up with me with just tears in her eyes. And she said, "Honey, you can't fix this. That house across the street, that's my friend who I had coffee with every morning. The place you passed on the way here, up the street, little bitty social club, that's where we went to play games and hang out and watch football and just have a good time with our friends. It's gone. My friend's dead, and that's gone. To add insult to injury, my daughter lived down this way, and my son lived up this way. And my son and my daughter and my 5 grandchildren have moved to the far corners of our country and are never coming back. No, honey, you can't fix this." That exchange has run in my head for so long. And it explains the just visceral pain that comes to the insured that we as an industry are always addressing. About 3 years ago, I was on a loss with for an attorney, and I was with like a second inspection on commercial loss. And the senior adjuster who I had looked like he may be having a bad day. I was just having trouble connecting with him. He just seemed to be just kind of rigid. And I don't know what got me to do it, but I asked him, I guess I was grappling for some way to just connect. And I said, you know, "Hey, how long have you been in the business?" And he told me. And I said, "Did you work Katrina?" And all the kind of tension ran out of his face, and kind of a different look took over, like almost a sorrowful look. And he said, yeah, I did." We sat down on a bench, and for 15 minutes, we talked about Katrina and all the pain we saw. And to be honest with you, it was a very healing experience. Because we had shared shared experience of dealing with this just horrible pain on the part of the insured. And so what I was thinking about today is, to this day, I have untended issues emotionally from a lot of the things I've seen, from mudslides to earthquakes to hurricanes to fires. I mean, we see people in a way that is so painful so often. And we got to remember that we are here to protect the insured, but at the same time we are doing that job, we're human. And sometimes that shared experience is the salve that we need in our industry to better understand each other. I have never met anybody who spent a long time in this industry dealing with insureds who didn't on some level just feel it in the depths of their heart. And I say all this to say that as we go into this next catastrophe, it might be a good idea for all of us to recognize that part of what grades on us in this process is dealing with this pain that is the pain of the insured. And we should understand that, one, that connects us because we all do it, and two, we might want to all be a little more honest about how all of this kind of affects our mental health. And we ought to look after each other in a much more caring way, because we're all tough and we're all pushing and we're all trying to do the right thing all the time. And sometimes all that we see and all that we feel, because we have a heart, because we are human, sometimes that gets to be too much. And sometimes, just like I did with Michael 3 years ago, sitting down on that loss and changing the entire feeling of what we were doing and having almost a healing experience with each other. You know, I think that right there, that should be common. Because I can look in any corner of this business, any corner, and I can find really, really, really phenomenal people. A lot of people that do absolutely, positively wonderful jobs that no one knows about, that no one recognizes is hard, that no one recognizes painful on a mental and physical level. Guys, I'm proud to stand with you. I'm proud to be in an industry of professionals who protect the insured. And I think we also should be proud that as professionals, we recognize this shared experience. And that we do right by each other by recognizing that we're stronger between us if we bond over this. I know this was a straight up weird thing to cover, but if I've learned anything at all in the last probably 15 years, is that just about everything that matters in this industry has to do with where your heart is. Because none of this is just about the money. None of it at all. That's a byproduct, but that is not the stuff we are doing. What we are doing is protecting the insured, quietly or loudly. Have a good day. Swing for the rafters. and know that all that you've walked through and the pain that it may cause doesn't have to just grind you now or in the future. Take care.